he's got very intense Nazi and swastika regalia all over himself.
It will probably have to be when I tried to go farming in Australia to get my second-year visa. So we were like really excited, drove all the way over there, and like we were in literally like the middle of nowhere, like the farm. It took us like 3 hours to get there because we got lost about 100 times. But the thing that made me really out my comfort zone was the like work itself. They were telling us to like cut down little pine trees, and literally like it got to like halfway through the first day and I was like, what are we doing? We're just cutting down a load of trees, like this is horrible. And we were like, okay, we'll stick it out for a couple more weeks. And by day 2 we turned around and it literally looked like a tree massacre. Like we'd cut down so many trees, and like the fact that we were like cutting down all these trees, it just felt like it's like a small version of like deforestation. Hated it. And like the fact that we were doing it so that more cattle could grow and like produce more methane, like the whole climate change side of it, I really felt so uncomfortable doing it. So yeah, it was really out my comfort zone, and we ended up quitting that day because we just both looked at each other and thought, I'm not cutting down another tree, like I'm just not doing it. And yeah, got out of there really.
The first country that I went to other than Germany and Europe was Lithuania. And I went for a heritage festival they were having, and it was amazing. There was like 800,000 extra people there or something like this. And it was just really cool to see people celebrate where they're from. And then at one point, as I'm crossing through this giant park, there's a man there, and he's got very intense Nazi and swastika regalia all over himself. And even though I'm from the States with a history of things like Nazism or intense racism, I'd never before been to someone or next to someone so close who was just sporting this as like a point of pride. So I think that's when I've been most out of my comfort zone. But then as I walked past him again later, it didn't faze me the same way, because I realized it's just one person's opinion, and of all the people at this festival wearing their pride and their different headdresses, there was one man with this view. And the world just isn't like it was 100 years ago, and I don't have to be worried about these things. Yeah.
So the first stop in my travels was in Nepal, and I had gone with my best friend, and we were going to do some trekking. My brother, who had done it before, had always told me that I should work out, I should get fit, like trekking is not as easy, it's not just walking. And I totally disregarded what he told me. Anyway, when I was just about to get to the village where was our first stop, I suddenly couldn't walk anymore. I got a hip lock, and the only way I could move was to shuffle. Otherwise, if I had to lift it, if I could lift my leg, it would really hurt me. And so with the help of my friend and some other travelers, I got to the first guest house, and I stayed there. And I thought that it was just like a cramp and I was gonna like get over it. So they had to leave and I had to be there. And as much as I'm lucky that it happened at the end of the first stop so I could easily get somewhere, it was a slap in the face, because you always think that you have your health and you have all your body parts, and I always thought that, you know, I can do anything, you know, even if I stress my body, it's my body, you know. But no, my body gave up on me because I didn't maybe train it well. You just get this shock of like your health, and I just hit 30, so you start thinking like, yeah, your health is, you know, waning or leaving you. And it took me a good 4 weeks to 6 weeks to heal and walk without a stick. So as a backpacker, I had to stay where I was. I couldn't carry my bags, and the whole time I was just like, please God, let my body get back to normal and I will treat it right. That was when I was out of my comfort zone, thinking I could trek and I could do things, but no, I could not.
I guess when I was most out of my comfort zone would be when I was in Vietnam with my brother. We stopped at a seafood place, ordered food, realized we didn't have enough money to pay for it, so my brother had to leave, find an ATM. And so I was at the restaurant with all the Vietnamese locals while they were singing karaoke for about 2.5 hours by myself. And that was the first time I guess, really interacted with the locals. They gave me drinks and food, and we laughed, and they didn't know much English, but we were getting by just using hand signals, and they had me singing karaoke, which I would never do. I would never get in front of people and sing karaoke or dance, that's for certain. And I'd say those 2.5 hours were some of the most fun, I guess, I've had on this trip so far, and I think it's kind of funny. I was out of my comfort zone, and that's when I had the most fun.
I'd have to say when I first landed in Bangkok. I had been traveling for about 2 months prior in Europe. That went fairly easy, fairly well, and then when I got into Bangkok, it was somewhat of a culture shock. I mean, I was just getting lots of stares, and I was ready for it in a sense, but like on that specific day, I don't know, I just felt different. I just went buying lotion, and that all you could see is just like whitening cream or bleach and the lotion, and like, so that was pretty hard. That was draining on me. So after that first day, like I really had to have a talk with myself to just be like, hey, chill, relax. There's more to this experience, because if I carried that negativity with me throughout my travels in Asia, it just would have been like, it would have been a bad time, and I would have not been receptive and open to the good that could come my way. Since then, it's just been a lovely time, and honestly, some things were just lining up so well, and I was back into like my initial traveler's mindset, which is to let go, to be free, and to just embrace every moment. I'd say that's when I felt most out of my comfort zone. But at the same time, I'm thankful for it, because it really did make me reflect upon myself. And it was kind of the purpose of the traveling as well. One of the goals that I had set for myself while traveling was to to get to know myself better, and to get to know what my boundaries are, what I enjoy, where, like, and to discover all that, you really do need to step out of your comfort zone. So yeah, that's pretty much it.